Welcome, neighbor. Thank you for pulling up a chair and joining us today. Every season of life introduces us to a different version of ourselves. Sometimes that season comes with excitement, sometimes uncertainty, and sometimes it asks us to leave behind what's familiar to discover who we're becoming. Today's conversation is especially meaningful to me because I'm joined by someone who's experiencing all those things firsthand. My son, Joshua. A few months ago, Josh moved from California to Texas. He started a new job, built new routines, earned his Texas driver's license, and is learning what life looks like in a completely different environment while living with his godparents. Shout out to Chris and Chrissy. Woo-hoo. As his mom, it's been beautiful to watch. But if I'm honest, for me, it was a very emotional transition. So today, we're simply having a conversation. One about growth, change, faith, family, and becoming. Neighbor, pull up a chair. We're so glad you're here. Before we jump into today's conversation, I want to invite all of us to simply listen, not to judge, not to compare, but to reflect. Because while Josh's story is unique to him, I have a feeling each of us has experienced a season of leaving something familiar in order to grow into someone new. So, let's grow together. Josh, first of all, thank you for doing this with me. I know this isn't something we normally do, but I wanted to know, how are you feeling?
What's up, Mom? Honestly, I'm feeling great. I'm so happy that you invited me to join this podcast. I love listening to every episode. And also, I do want to say, the girls were trying to throw me under the bus in that last episode. Listen, they trying to say they're the most organized and the funniest out of the three of us. No. First off, I'm the funniest. I will say that. Now, organization, I'll give it to Zion. But the funniest is definitely me. Zion got some corny jokes. She got some dad jokes. I just want to throw that out there because she was trying to play me last time. Both of them was. So I just want to throw that out there. I'm the funniest out of the three. Most organized, I'll give that to Zion because I'm a little, I'm the oldest brother. I'm a little unorganized. But besides that, getting back to the point, I'm blessed. I can't complain. I'm happy that you brought me on here.
Awesome. I'm so glad to have you on, Josh. I really am. I just feel like it was, definitely something I wanted to do. And ensuring that, we get your perspective of things. I know that you're in a whole different state, but we definitely wanted to, get a chance to hear how you're doing. So
absolutely.
When you think back to the day you left California, what emotions do you remember feeling?
So this is a funny question because the whole buildup of me moving, I really felt numb. Like, I felt like there wasn't a part of me that I really understood I'm moving across, like halfway across the country. And I didn't really understand that. But I'll tell you exactly when it hit. So we had a 24-hour long drive, and we were driving through Albuquerque, New Mexico. And when we was in Albuquerque, New Mexico, I'm looking back, and I'm like, whoa. We're like 12 hours in, and I'm like, there's no turning back. Like, I realized I'm moving to a whole different state by myself into a whole new environment, a whole new family. Like, it hit me. I was like, what am I doing? And I questioned myself. I said, God, am I making the right decision? I was like so confused. I was really scared. I was nervous. I was anxious. But then I remember I had to go back to the Word. And that's what's really been carrying me throughout everything. Be anxious for nothing, but everything through prayer. Make your requests be made known to God. So I really had to sit back on that. And I started praying heavy. And I was like, God, you're going to cover me. I'm not going to stress out. I'm not going to worry. I'm not going to be afraid because I know that you're with me wherever I go. That's in Joshua 1:9. He said, wherever you go, the Lord will be with you. So a lot of scripture I've just been dwelling on lately and really just been meditating on because it's been carrying me through this this is a little scary season for me because it's something totally new. I'm by myself pretty much. I got my support of my godparents, but it's different, it's definitely different. And those who are listening, I know you understand. So that was my emotion. I felt anxious, scared, and nervous until I really tapped into the Word, and it just shifted for me immediately right after.
Awesome. Can never go wrong seeking God in uncertainty, when you don't really know what to expect, the unknown, and trying to figure things out. And, get an understanding or grip of things, it's always safety in going to God. So thank you for that. Josh, what has been the biggest adjustment since moving to Texas?
The heat. The weather. Because so for those who don't know, which we'll probably talk about later in the podcast, I work at Dutch Bros. So working at Dutch Bros, we have to be outside. And being outside in this Texas southern heat, and we're not even in the most hottest city. They say Houston is the worst because it's the most humid. So I'm blessed enough to be in Arlington. But I'm telling you, it was such a big adjustment because it's humid. It's thick out here. I remember one day I was walking out the house because I had to work at 5 a.m. That was one of the first days I had to work. And my glasses fogged up. And I was like, what the duck? I mean, I walked out the house and I was like, what is wrong? What is going on? And my glasses immediately fogged up. And the same thing, I got in my car, I drove to work, and I got out my car, and my glasses fogged up again. I'm like, this is a trip. And it's the morning time. You know what I'm saying? So I was really tripping. And it's because the humidity is so thick, even in the morning time when it's a little cold, and it's not really cold. It's still hot, but it's somewhat colder than the day. It's still humid, so my glasses are adjusting to that weather. So it's like the evaporation. I don't want to sound crazy, but it gets real foggy. So it was crazy. This heat's been an adjustment, but I will say, I don't want to talk your ears off, but the biggest adjustment for me is the new household, for sure. They do things very differently here, and I had to learn how to adjust to them and not them adjust to me because I was moving into their house. So for those who don't know, they have 4 daughters. It's a total of 7 of us. And they have a dog. They have a family dog, which is different too. We got a little dog named Maji. And I got 4 little god sisters. One is a sophomore in high school this year. Another is a freshman. And the other 2, one's going to 4th grade and the other one's going to, I want to say, 2nd. And it's been so different. I mean, when I first moved, they was like, why are you on your phone so much? Why are you doing this? Why are you wearing those shoes? Why are you wearing that hat? Why does your haircut look like that? Why are you wearing glasses? Why are you breathing? It was, I mean, I'm telling you, like because they're not used to that. They were used to their routine, their family. So when I came in, it was brand new. It was something different. So not only was it an adjustment for them, not only was it an adjustment for me, it was an adjustment for them. So that for me has been the biggest adjustment, is just fitting into this new household, you know?
Yes. No, it makes sense. And I mean, that's to be expected. Anywhere you're going into a new environment or with, they're not new people because you've been going, every summer or like at least break, you've had some time away with them. But like I told you, before you got there, I said, just keep in mind, it's going to be very different because this is no longer visiting. This is now living. So there's a huge difference from visiting versus living. So I said, it is going to take some time and understanding like the ins and outs of your god sisters, the ins and outs of your godparents, because it's not like you're just going for a 2-week break, a month break. You're going for as long as you choose to stay, so yeah, that's to be expected. So thank you for sharing that.
Absolutely.
Next question. What's something about Texas that has surprised you?
I would say just getting to know so many new people. For me, I feel like the hospitality down here is totally different. If you haven't been to the South, you don't know what real hospitality means. I mean, my managers literally cook meals for me, and I've went to their house and they've cooked for me, and they've talked about how such a great person I am and how they just really happy that they hired me. And it's been such a great experience to meet so many new people. I met this one girl. We went out to get Chipotle. It was straight platonic. Like, a lot of times in our generation now, it's like if you meet a girl, try to get the Instagram, everybody trying to, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't even like that though. And that was the most beautiful part, is because we went out, we was working together. She was like, hey, you want to grab some food after? I was like, I'm down. And we went out, and I know that she runs marathons. She loves to hike. She loves to travel. I met all these new people, and that's such a blessing because there's so many young people out here that are just striving to be better. And I felt like that was very different than what I had in Stockton. It was more enclosed. It was more small. I didn't really have people on the same mindset. So now that I'm out here, it definitely made a bigger horizon of just people I could talk to and connect with. And I've been having so much fun just playing pickleball with my coworkers every week. I've been doing that too, like a weekly pickleball. So it's been so great. I'm not going to lie. But that's one thing that surprised me the most, is just how open everybody is to get to know you. Yeah, that's beautiful, Josh. I love that.
I love that.
Yeah.
And that's a great experience too for someone that's new in the environment, is that you don't have to, be lonely. You don't have to be by yourself. Like, people are so more forthcoming to like letting you in their circle,
Right.
and I think that's a beautiful thing. But you are such a people person. It's so easy to get, get along with you. It's like, man, if you don't get along with Josh, something is wrong. Something is seriously wrong. Yes. But thank you. Absolutely. Next question. Has anything happened that made you think, such as, I didn't expect adulthood to look like this?
I'm going to be a little vulnerable, and I'm going to be a little upfront and transparent.
All right.
I made a bad decision. Not a bad decision, but I kind of messed up. That put myself a little steps back, where if I would have took more time and process and thought this through, I wouldn't have to deal with what I'm dealing with now. I'm not going to go too deep about it because I don't need y'all pocket watching. I'm just playing, but I ended up buying a car out here, and the car that I got wasn't the smartest deal. And it kind of put me further a couple steps back, and I really looked and took a reflection on myself, and I said, dang, adulthood is not easy. I had to transfer my license. I had to get my tax. I had to pay for insurance. I had to get roadside assistance. And I'm like, all right. I look at my paycheck, and it looked like nothing happened. I was really like trying to process it, because I'm like, man, I was scratching my head. And I'm like, I'm making good money out here. I'm making more money with this job by itself than both jobs I worked in California, which is a blessing. I thank God for it. Mm-hmm. But this car done suffocated me with all the, the money that I made. Mm-hmm. So that was the biggest lesson. And I was really regretful. I really was. But I had some reflection time with myself. And I told God, I said, I thank you. Because one, I could have had a car that broke down on me. It never broke down. It's still moving. It has 70,000 miles. So it's going to be a long-lasting. It's a Toyota Camry. So it's a long-lasting car. 70,000 miles. I was like, God, whatever happens, I trust in you. I had to stop sitting there and being so scared, because I was anxious. A lot of people was telling me, it's a bad decision. What are you doing? Oh, my gosh, you're crazy. And I'm like, dang, I am crazy. But you know what? I said, Josh, this is your first time living as an adult. This is your first time living as a person. So I have to give myself grace and understand that this is a learning lesson. This is not something I have to take as a loss, but more as a lesson. So this car is a slap in the face, but it's a blessing as well, So that's one thing that really made me open my eyes to adulthood. My nose hairs is flared up. My nose is open now,
That's all right, though. I mean, in life, that's what growth is about, right? Making those mistakes and learning from them, right? To not do it again. Like, okay, now next time around, I'm going to take my time. I'm going to really shop around and not just jump into the first thing that sounds good, but into something that I know is beneficial for me and is not going to hurt me in the long run, right? So absolutely. It's okay. That's the part of process of growing and learning, right? And becoming an adult. So you got to give yourself grace. Okay.
Right.
I want to ask you something, and I really want you to think about it. You've always been Josh, but I imagine this season has introduced you to a different version of yourself. Who is that person becoming?
That's a great question. I love this podcast because you can be very, very vulnerable and transparent, and that's what we're looking for, right?
Yes.
And that's where I'm gonna go to. For me, I'm just being totally upfront and transparent. I think I was a people pleaser a lot. Mm-hmm. I definitely people pleased a lot, and this season has been revealing that to me so much. Because becoming an adult, you cannot people please. Like, genuinely, you can't.
Yeah.
Like, if you're an adult and you're people pleasing, one, you're going to burn yourself out. Mm-hmm. Two, you're going to screw everything up that you're trying to set yourself up for, because what you're doing is you're putting other people before yourself. Mm-hmm. And what I realized is people really don't give a god darn about you. Mm-hmm. And I really had to learn that the hard way, too. And it's not that people don't care about you, but it's like everybody is living life in their own way. So when you put other people first, they're still putting themselves first, and then they're putting you second. Mm-hmm. So when your priorities is messed up, I start to notice that, and I had to realize that. And I'm like, Josh, I was really people pleasing. Mm. So one thing I love about this season is that I'm starting to really see, what does Josh want to do? what does Josh care for? For example, I went to the movies by myself to watch Spider-Man. Never, ever took like a solo, I call it kind of like a solo date, but I don't know if that's what's strange to say. But I went out.
That's what it's called.
Yeah, so I went out on I'm going to say a solo man trip. And I just went out on this solo man trip. And I went to watch Spider-Man, the new one that came out. And I enjoyed it. Like, I really was just so at peace because I was like, I never really done something for myself. I was always feeling like I had to take care of my sisters. I was always feeling like I wanted to, do the best I could for our household. And even when I got here, I wanted to make sure I was upkeeping myself. But now that I'm becoming more of an adult, my godparents, they don't really hold me back from a lot of stuff. They're like, you have freedom. We don't want you to go out there and cause trouble and chaos, but you're an adult. Like, live your life, enjoy, have fun. And doing all these things, playing pickleball, like, it's revealing that I can put myself first. Like, I don't have to put other people first. And it's been such a blessing to really see that. And I've been enjoying it and nourishing in it and just really being able to accept Josh for Josh,
Love that. I love that. Becoming you, just figuring out how to love on you, right?
Absolutely.
And I think that's a big thing. That's a big growth, right? A lot of people don't even arrive to that at such an young age as you are, right? They struggle. Even I still struggle with that. Like I said, I'm 39 and I still struggle with that. And so that is very encouraging and motivating to me. And I think it's amazing because I feel like I've been dealing with that same thing, is realizing how can I make sure that I am doing things for myself? How am I feeding myself? How am I meeting my needs, right? Because it's like always when they say with the metaphor, right? You can't put the person's mask on, their breathing mask on before you do it for yourself, because otherwise you could pass out and then know everybody in a bad situation, right? So you gotta put yours on first and then put on the person next to you, right? So, and a lot of times in life we forget to do that. We forget to take time out for ourselves. We almost feel guilty for doing that, right? Instead of just saying, hey, it's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. This is definitely something you should be doing. So I give you kudos to that, like major kudos for that. Like I said, because some adults have yet to even get to that point or even understand how to get to that point. So good job on that.
I appreciate that. Absolutely.
So what's something you learned about yourself that you don't think you would have learned if you stayed in California?
That's a great question as well. I think I really wouldn't have got to discover Josh for Josh. And let me break that down for those who are listening. If you knew me, I was everywhere. Like, I'm going to make sure you see my face. I'm going to make sure I'm smiling. I'm going to make sure I'm happy. I'm going to make sure I'm trying to brighten up everybody's mood. And I did not really care about what I had going on with me. I just wanted to make sure other people were okay. So this is somewhat people pleasing, but this is kind of more about me, right? And I remember I had this conversation with a person in class when I was my senior year. And they was like, Josh, when you're not at school, like, class is boring. Like, because there were some days where I didn't show up to school because I had a lot of stuff going on or I was sick or something was going on. And it was like, when you're not at school, class is boring. Like, nobody talks, nobody's having fun. Like, it's just boring without you here. And I'm like, why? Like, you guys should be able to, like, it shouldn't be me as the only person to upkeep the classroom. And they were like, genuinely, like, you bring such a light that just shines so bright. Like, and this is not me bragging, this is word for word what they were saying. They're like, you bring this light that shines so brightly. And we're so grateful for it because that's who you are in our class. And I took that as my responsibility, and I didn't notice that. But all my years of high school, all my years of middle school, all my years of elementary school, I mean, my parents could tell you, I used to come home with red cards, and they were not because I was a bad kid. It's because I wouldn't shut my mouth. Like, continually. Like, my teachers used to clip me down on the yellow card because they knew I would come in. And that was like a warning. That was like, you're starting on the yellow card because I would talk so much. I knew the lesson. I knew the agenda. I was good at math. I was good at English. I didn't care about all that. But I was just so happy with making people happy. And I think the place that I'm at now is I'm starting to understand I got to make myself happy. Because a lot of times what I noticed was I was so drained trying to fulfill the happiness of other people that I wasn't caring about Josh's happiness first. Again, people pleasing. you know, and it was kind of like The Pursuit of Happiness. I really love that movie, and I don't know if that makes sense to those, but it's like he worked so hard to get to where he was trying to be, and he kept putting himself first. It was the pursuit of happiness, and at the end, he got that job, and he was fulfilled, and I think I was doing it the opposite way. I was pursuing happiness in the wrong way. I was trying to make everybody around me so content, so fulfilled, that I was not trying to fill my own cup up, and I was pouring out of an empty cup. And I really started to understand that I can't pour out of an empty cup. And for me, that's been such a blessing to reveal to me now, is that if I would have stayed in California, I would have still been pouring out an empty cup. I would have still been fulfilling things for other people. But now that I moved to Texas, nobody knows me here. It was a full, fresh restart. And I call it my baby season. Because it's like I'm being reborn. Like, real talk. Like, nobody knows me here. Nobody knows my name. Nothing. And that's such a blessing to really be able to do that, because I'm starting to discover that I have to put myself first, and it's been such a blessing. Yeah,
I love that. I love
that. That's what I got to say.
Okay, all right. Come through with the gems. I love it. I really do. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Has there been a moment when you questioned yourself, or even questioned whether moving was the right decision? How did you work through that?
I would say there's been several moments, because so I'm gonna just be honest. I don't want your feelings hurt, but I've never really been homesick, which is crazy. I think I've been enjoying my time out here so far, but I haven't been homesick once.
That's good.
And I'm like, I get sad because I miss y'all. I can't hug y'all. I can't talk to y'all. My sister's like, sometimes I call them once a week. It's really a struggle. You know what I mean? Definitely it's not the same conversations that we used to have. So it's hard. But I think for me, I questioned it the most because I said, did I make the right decision on leaving the household? Because I knew how much of a responsibility I had there. Again, going back to me, people pleasing. This all is the root of that. And I was like, dang, what is the household going to look like without me? Like, I know I was helping my sisters. I was helping my parents. I know I was doing this and doing that. And I kept thinking, like, well, are they going to suffer without me? Are they going to, like, what's going to happen? I was anxious. I kept praying about you guys. I was like, man, God, cover them. I don't know what they're going to do. Like, I ain't Superman of the household. But I'm just like, you know what I mean? Like, I was like, I knew the responsibility I was holding while I was there, you know? And when I left, God revealed to me, not only did he have to remove me from the household, but he needed me to be removed to work on you guys as well. Because I felt like a lot of times it was always me, Nariah, and Zion, but they had to build a relationship with each other. And I had to remove myself for them to be able to understand we're sisters. Like, it's not just my sister and my brother now. Really, it's just my sister. And they had to learn that. And God was showing me that. You know, and even for you guys, like, without me being that middleman being there, now it's just you and the girls. You know what I mean? Like, you know, that's really what God was showing me, is like, give them that time to understand I'm not only working on you, I'm working on that household as well. So that's one thing that helped me really understand that I don't regret moving, or I don't question myself about moving, because it feels in my heart this was the absolute right decision. Because for those of you who don't know, I was accepted into CSU East Bay as well to go to college. And I was like, that was the biggest thing. I was like, God, like, where should I go? Should I go to Delta? Should I go to CSU East Bay? Should I go to Texas? Like, but he told me, wherever you go, that's where I'll be. And that stuck with me. And he said that clear as day. I promise you, I heard God's voice. He said, wherever you go, that's where I'll be. So I trusted God, and I said, I'm going to Texas. And ever since then, it's been a beautiful journey.
Love that. Love that. Okay. Love that.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Now, regarding your father, myself, and your sisters, being away from us, has your perspective on family changed? Since we're getting into that, we kind of got into it a little bit, but has your perspective on family changed?
I would say yes, for sure, because I remember talking to one of the members at the church, and I was on a phone call with him not too long ago, and he said, the relationship really shows when people move away, because sometimes what we do is, being in the convenience of being in the physical presence of people, we don't understand how much of a convenience that is. Like, when you see somebody every day, when you talk to somebody every day, it's like going to school with your high school friends. Then you get older and everybody gets families and they grow apart. That was the same thing I felt like with you guys, with my family. It was like the convenience of waking up in the same house as y'all was the best thing for us. But now that I moved away, it's actually going to take work to keep the relationship alive. It's going to take work to be able to, hey, how are you doing? I missed you. I love you. I want to check on you. Like, that takes work. We just got to be real. You know what I mean? Like, it's not just something that, you know, we both are busy. I'm working now. I'm going to be a college student soon. You guys are working. The girls are going back to school. Like, I'm figuring out y'all's schedule. I'm 2 hours ahead. So it's going to take work. You know, it's not just a natural thing where it's like I wake up, y'all right there. It's not that. It's like, hey, can I call you later? I'm at work right now. Or, hey, can you hit me up later? I got something going on. So for me, it really changed my perspective to really how you shape relationships based off of firm foundation, not just something that it was like, it's a convenience. So now that I don't see you every day, I really don't care about our relationship. No, I care. So this has been revealing to me how to really work on our relationships with the space in between us, with the miles apart in between us, you know?
Yeah, that's good. That's really good. And that's a lot of times I think when people move to a new environment, especially if you're moving away from family or your, you know, what you know, your safe space, you know, your safe people, the people that you feel connected to, and you're going to an unknown territory, unknown land, right? People, I think, forget that relationship is going to look different. It's going to look very different as far as communication, even like maybe feelings, you know, and emotions. Sometimes they can be a little bit more increased to where you're, like you said, homesick, and you're really just crying because you're just missing home. You're feeling like by yourself or detached, you know, or like you have some kind of void. I'm grateful that hasn't been your outcome or it hasn't been your experience so far. But, you know, I do feel like you are absolutely right that whole change of environment definitely will show you what building relationships looks like, and why we have to have those strong relationships, because when we have space in between us, that really truly shows the value of the relationship. Right. Yeah, very good perspective. Next question. This is about regarding to us as your father, your siblings, and myself. What's something you appreciate now that maybe you didn't notice before?
I think how much we've been there for each other. I think I really didn't notice that until I left. And so for those of you who don't know, I'm living with my godparents. I know we spoke about that earlier, but my godparents are very different people. Let me break that down. My goddad, this is what I told them. They said I called them vultures, but I'm going to explain why. I said, you guys dig on people's brain. Like you keep asking questions and you keep digging deeper until there ain't nothing left to dig. And then you dig some more. And I'm like, y'all, like they pick apart every part of your brain. It'll be like, hey, you know, I was thinking about going to my friend's house. Whose friend is it? Oh, it's this friend. Why are you going there? I mean, it's a cool hangout. Who's all going? It's this, and this. Why do you want to go? Because it's interesting. Well, what makes it interesting? Like, I'm telling you, there's a question for everything. And I love it because it adds new perspective, because I felt like these are questions they're asking me things I never really tapped in with. Like, I do appreciate that about them. But a lot of times, sometimes I think it's overbearing, because it's like when you ask questions, sometimes I just need an ear. Sometimes I just need somebody to be there. You know what I mean? I think a lot of times they question because they're like, we're trying to get to the root. And even when they get to the root, they going deeper. So that's why I'm like, one thing I do appreciate about my family is that it was always, we're going to get to the root, but we're going to be an ear when you just need an ear. We're going to be there when you just need us to be there. And that's one thing I appreciate about it the most. Like the girls, for example, I remember Zion, man. I love my sisters. Zion and Naraya, I love y'all. But Zion, one time I was sneaking and I was trying to open up these Christmas presents. Do you remember that, Mom?
Yeah.
And I was trying to open up the Christmas present because I know y'all got me shoes. And I was trying to see what shoes. I was so excited. And I ain't never done this before. Like, y'all were very against that. That was a rule in our house. If you open up Christmas presents, like, y'all really didn't even want to give it to us no more because it ruins a surprise.
Right.
And I was opening it, and Zion walked in my room, and she was like, oh, I'm telling Mom. And I said, you better not. Be quiet. So I pulled her in my room. I'm like, don't tell her, please. I'm begging her. I'm like, don't tell her. Like, please, no. Like, you know I'm going to get in trouble. Stop. And she was like, no, I'm telling her. She's like, either you tell her or I'm telling her. And this, mind you, this girl is like 7, 8 years old at this time. I'm like, bruh. I'm like, you on these ultimatums. So I go in the laundry room. I tell my mom, like, hey, I opened up the present. And Zion said, if I don't tell you, she will. So I'd rather hear it from me. but she was an ear, but also she laid down that, it was like she asked questions, like she wanted me to still do the action, but she was also an ear. I don't know if I'm making sense, but that's like, she really was, a lot of times my family was just there. Like, you guys were always there when I needed help and I needed support, and you kept me through and you kept my mind sharp and you kept me straight on the right path. That's one thing I think I appreciate now that I don't see, is because you guys were just an open ear. You guys were just loving. You guys were just, hey, if you need to talk, I'm here. I'm not going to force it, but I'm going to talk if you need me, you know? So that's one thing I appreciate, whereas here, it's like, if I don't talk, oh man, something going to happen. You know what I mean? So it's very different.
Yeah. Which is good too, because it gives you a different light on things, because, you know, you shouldn't always expect the same thing, because everybody is different, right? God created us all different. And I think that's what makes the world so unique, is that everybody has a different, you know, personality, different characteristics, you know, different traits and things like that. And so it keeps you on your toes. And then you're like, okay, I know this is not my mom and dad, but I know my nanny and goddad, how they are, and I have to expect that from them, right? Because that's what they usually give. And so it's like just kind of just being able to kind of transform into the way that, you know, makes it work for you guys, right? And have that relationship, that you have that understanding, and being able to adapt to that change, right? So totally get it. Totally get it. Now, what's one thing you miss the most?
Oh, that's a good question. I think for me, I miss the laughter. I miss the quiet moments. I miss the quality time. I miss the genuine just being together. You know, I felt like, and I expressed this to my mom, and again, this is a vulnerable podcast. And I told her, I was like, Mom, I'm not going to lie. Like, when I first moved out here, is it okay if I share this?
Yeah, go ahead.
I said, for me, you know where I'm going, right? I just want to make sure. Like,
no, yeah.
So I said, and I expressed, and I said, hey, Mom, like, I just want to be real. Like, it's hard for me to call and reach out, because I felt like when I was in, like, it's almost like we took it for granted. You know what I mean? Like, when I was still in the same vicinity, or I don't know if I said that right, but vicinity or whatever.
Vicinity, yes.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm working on it, y'all.
Vicinity, it's okay. It's all right.
While we was together, I feel like the quality time wasn't as much as I desired it to be. You know what I mean? I feel like a lot of times we were like all separated, all kind of doing our own thing around the house. That's why I say I miss the quality time, because there was genuine moments where we watched movies in the movie room together, or we went out as a family, watched the Michael Jackson movie with our grandma. I loved that. Like, it was just so much fun. But then I started to notice, like, okay, they're reaching out more because I know they miss me. But it was hard because I knew I was there and I desired it more, but we didn't take advantage of it while I was in the moment, like while we were there.
Right.
And I expressed that to my mom, and I said, hey, like, it's hard for me because I knew how much I wanted quality time. And I think now that I'm removed from the area, it's harder now because you guys want that. You guys desire that. And I desire it too. So I think one thing I do miss the most, though, is just being able to sit down and laugh with you guys and have a good time and hear Zion's corny jokes and watching Mariah's anime edits and see her drawings and be so proud of herself, and just to be able to talk to you and have a genuine conversation about girls. I mean, shoot. 75% of our conversations about girls. But you know what? That's okay, because I'm growing. All right?
Yeah.
God ain't no bachelor. Thank God. I'm still a virgin. Thank God. I don't got no kids. We're being smart. We're being safe. You know?
Yes.
We are good.
Yes.
So, I mean, I'm happy we had those conversations. You know, even talking with my dad and him telling me how to be a man and how to build a home and teaching me how to. I remember we put cement on the walls. We repainted our whole house, me and him.
Well, and stucco, not cement. You don't want to do cement, but stucco. It's okay.
Stucco. Sorry. You know, okay. We're working on it, y'all. We're working on it. So, okay. But when me and my dad was working on the house, and I remember this stuff. We built a whole shed in the backyard, and him showing me how to build things and do things with your hand. And the reason I really tell him, and I told him this the other day, I said, God, I said, Dad, I said, you're the reason I hustle so much the way I do now. Like, it's not a bad hustle. It's a good hustle.
Mm-hmm.
Because you taught me so much about work ethic that I want to be better than you. And you already set the bar so high. My dad I've never lived without lights on. I've never lived without food on my table at the end of the night. I never lived without running water. I never lived without clothes on my back. Like, my parents have always provided. And that's one thing I aspire from my household, is to be better than that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I want my kids, whenever you want it, I got it. Which my parents was the same way. Y'all came through on almost every promise. Nah, not almost. Y'all came through on every promise, like, to be honest. And I want to be like that. You know, and that was just a blessing to me to be able to see y'all live that out and for me to reflect on that. And I think that's, like I said, to tie it all back together, because, you know, your boy a little yapper. But
it's okay.
One thing I do miss the most is just the quality time. I miss the laughter. I miss the hugs. I miss the kisses. It's been hard. That's the emotional aspect of that has been the hardest for me, because it's like, I can't get that no more, where it's like, I just want to hug you. Mom, I miss you. I love you. Good night. Like, I don't get those no more, you know? So it's been a struggle, but I've been working through it, because I know God's love been keeping me, man. I ain't gonna lie. He really has. So, yeah.
And I know it's not the same. But, you know, our love doesn't go away just because you're so far away, right?
Right.
There may be that distance there, but just know that even through this conversation, I'm hugging you. I'm loving you. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's hard for me to, you know, that I cried like almost a month straight, you know, trying to get my life together, you know, just because I lost, you know, that ability to be able to physically hug you, or to, like, you know what I mean? Like, sometimes I'll come by and I'll just, like, kind of grab your neck real quick and make you, like, just quench real quick, because, you know, that was your tickle spot, you know, things like that. Or just seeing your dimple smile, you know, like, I miss those things, to be able to see them every day. So I get it, totally get it. And has been hard, you know, so, and, you know, no parent ever really realizes or thinks or plans for their child to leave the nest, right? We think, I don't know, well, at least for me, I thought you was going to stay forever, and knowing good and well that was not going to be the case. But, you know, I just thought I was going to be able to keep my little Josh forever, and not realizing, wow, he's 18 and now he can choose what to do with his life. And that was really hard for me. So I know and I understand where you're coming from. Trust me, I do.
Yeah.
So now let's get into talking a little bit about faith, you know, about what your faith looks like and how that's shaping. The first question I have for you is, where have you seen God in this new season?
Oh, such a good question. My God dad has been on my helmet. Let me explain. So he quotes his Bible verse day in and day out, and it's in the multitude of counsel, there's safety.
Yes.
And when I tell you, I've been hearing that Bible verse like at least once a week, and it's not just by him. It's by the pastors of the churches we're visiting, like, because we're still looking for a home church. But it's the pastors that the churches we've been visiting. It's in videos, like on Instagram reels, on different things. People that I'm talking to, they're like, in the multitude of counsel, there's safety. And they won't even quote the scripture exactly. They'll be like, you know, when you get advice from a lot of sources, or when you're in wise counsel, you're going to be able to protect yourself, because you're going to allow those who fell before you. You don't have to fall the same way we did. He's like, take our advice. Stop being young and stop being the one person that doesn't want to listen, because why would you want to fall over the same stone that I fell over? And it was so clear. And that's one thing I think God is really revealing to me is, Josh, you don't have to have it all figured out. You don't have to know it all. You don't, like, I'm an 18-year-old. I'm a young man growing in this big world that's been here centuries before I have.
Yeah.
And there's several men before me that came before me. There's several, even women who could give me advice, but there's several men who came before me who made the same mistakes that they don't want me to make. And God has been revealing that to me is, look at the sources that you have. I even met a pastor today. He wants to go out and get coffee. Like, I'm telling you, there's so many people I've been connecting with and talking to and really getting advice and seeking advice on things, relationships, mindsets, money, spending habits. I've started a Roth IRA account. I opened up my own Roth IRA account to save for retirement. I've been investing. I've been doing different things that I've been keeping quiet and on the low, but this is because I'm getting advice from the right sources, people that did it right. You know, and it's a blessing. And God has really been revealing that to me, that, Josh, you have the background, you have the support. Like, I don't have to struggle because there's kids out there that I don't have support. There's young men out there that are my age who don't got nobody to go to, who don't got nobody to talk to. So why am I going to sit here and waste that when I have the advantage? I have the upper hand. And that's what God is showing me.
Awesome. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. And thank you for your obedience. Because you can get counsel, but sometimes, you can be prideful. You can be just like you think you know it all, right? But there is safety in counsel, right? Good counsel, right? So, and God is always going to lead you to the right counsel. So thank you for your obedience in that.
Right.
Has there ever been moments where you had to trust God differently than you did before?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think that child faith is gone. You know what I mean? Like, it's like I got to become a man now, and that it's more faith of depending on God. Because as a kid, I was always like, God is always there. I was always like, God is there. Like, I used to clap my hands and sing my songs, but now it's not just about worship. It's not just about going to church. It's not just about, going in every Sunday and worshiping God and telling everybody, I'm blessed and highly favored in the Lord. Like, no. Now I'm in the season that I got to live it out. I got to truly be able to walk and live it out. And there's definitely been moments where I had to trust God differently because it's like now that I'm getting older, this car, I remember one day, and it really scared me. I thought it was over. Because I already said I made a bad decision. It already messed me up. And I remember I had to go to work because I got called in. Mind you, this is a call-in. This is not a scheduled shift. So like, I got you. I'm on my way. I turn on the car. I'm driving down the street. Before I leave the neighborhood, the car idles. It just stops. And I'm like, God, why? I'm over here punching the wheel. I'm like, God, why? God, why? And I was so frustrated. And I'm like, God, why would you allow this to happen to me? I just got this is like a week of me getting the car. The same week I got the car. I'm like, God, I just got this car. Like, I don't want to mess it up. Like, it's already kind of like messing me up. Like, why would you allow this to happen to me? And all he did was say, turn the engine off and turn it back on. I did it, and that thing got up and started running like nothing happened. And I was like, what the jump? I was really tripped out. But it showed me that you have to trust me. Stop getting so frustrated. Stop getting in your emotions. Stop getting in your feelings and lean on me.
Yes.
Those that wait on the Lord shall renew their strength. So what he's showing me now is I have to wait on him. Allow him to prune me and to refine me and put me through the fire and put me through the hard things. And I have to trust him differently because there's been things where I've been even noticing people. There's some people I have to cut off and not talk to and not deal with. And I've been noticing that people from Stockton I had to leave behind. And that's been the hard thing too. And I had to trust God in that. Because I'm such a people person, I don't want to ruin these relationships. But what he told me is some relationships you have to let go of if you need to keep going and pushing forward. It's like Abraham. I don't want to preach to y'all, but this is really what he's been showing.
Go ahead, preach to us. Go ahead.
Like, it was Abraham when God told him, leave your family, leave your wife, leave your father's house, and go out. Leave everything behind. Leave all the cattle, leave all the animals, everything. And he said, leave by yourself. And one thing we noticed is he brought Lot with him. He was not supposed to bring Lot with him. And when he brought Lot, he brought his wife, he brought Lot's wife. And that's how the whole Sodom and Gomorrah thing happened. And she turned into a pillar of salt. If Abraham would have left by himself, he wouldn't have to struggle as bad as he did. He would have to go through so much turmoil with Hagar and Ishmael and all these different things. You know what I mean? And that really showed me that God is taking me to a place that I can't bring everybody with me.
Man.
And I had to trust him differently in that because I'm like, God, why are you doing it? Like, I feel horrible. I feel like a horrible person. He's like, you're not a horrible person. But you got to realize some people were hanging on your coattails because they knew the success you were going to make. You can't allow people to still, because when people hold on your coattails, they're dragging you back. They're pulling you down. They're still holding on to you. So you got to shake the dust off your feet and keep it moving. And he's really been revealing that, and I had to trust him differently. So it's definitely been a stronger trust. I've definitely been building that relationship. I want to let y'all know, just because I ain't that VIP no more, don't mean my faith is different. All right? It's actually probably been stronger. Because I had to learn. I had to grow. So it's definitely been a blessing, though. He's definitely been revealing to me that I can trust him and lean on him. Amen?
Amen. All right. All right, Preacher Josh, Pastor Josh. I always mess with Josh, but I really, truly believe, ever since he was in my womb, I was told that Josh has a calling on his life and that I had to be very careful with how I take care of Josh, how I look out for, Josh, and how I have to cover him and protect Josh, and the same thing was told to Roby as well, is that, he had to be very careful with how he handled Josh and how he raised Josh and would, build that foundation with him, just because we knew that Josh had a calling on his life. My mother even had a dream about his name, and how important it was to name him the name that God chose for him. And I'm so grateful, because if anybody knows about Joshua in the Bible, he really got the people to the promised land. Yep. Moses wasn't able to fulfill that promise, and, due to some disobedience and anger, but God used Joshua instead to lead the people to the promised land. And I feel like Josh definitely fulfills that meaning, that purpose, leading people back to Christ, or leading people to Christ. He's even helped me come back to Christ as his mother. Like, that was a definite turning point for me. Even seeing a young child such as Josh praising and worshiping God so sincere, so genuine and authentically. And I'm like, here am I, a whole adult, and can't get my life together. So, I just truly appreciate God for what he's doing in your life, Josh, and for how you're just so willing and obedient to allow him to do so. So continue to keep trusting God. Like, I just love it. I love what I'm seeing. Now, thank you. I know we talked about you becoming a teacher someday. And so I wanted to just kind of get into that. And so where do you think that desire comes from?
Oh, man, that's such a beautiful question, because I remember, so I just went to Oklahoma City not too long ago to visit my great-grandpa for his 94th birthday. Shout out Pawpaw, man.
Shout out to Pawpaw. We love you, Pawpaw.
Shout out to Pawpaw. We love you, man. And honestly, I really didn't know how much we look alike until I saw the photos. It was creepy. I was like, it's going to be me as an old man. I was like, and then I posted on Instagram. Everybody blew up. I was getting so many likes. Everybody's like, that's your twin. That's your twin. And I was like, yo, this is Gramps. Like, I'm going to be Gramps one day.
Right.
And we look so much alike, but that's sidebar. But anyways, I remember talking to one of my family members, and they was like, what do you want to do? I was like, I want to be a teacher. I really, I'm so passionate about being a teacher. And they was like, that's in your blood, right? And I was like, break that down. And she was like, everybody that came before you was always a helper in something. They said, look at your grandma. Had the whole daycare running. She was like, she had all the kids in there. Shout out Sunshine Daycare for grandma.
Daycare.
Sister Ruth Thompson. Because of her, all the kids that was in there, we grew up learning how to read and write before we were even in school. I remember I wasn't even in preschool yet. I was so far ahead because I knew how to read and write. And she was teaching us about our faith and about God. And she was making sure at 3 p.m. sharp, we was in them beds and taking naps. And she remembered that we was potty trained and that we was learning things. And she was just such a blessing to us at such a young age. I really wish she kept it open. But, due to some things, God blessed her through it, though. I'm not even going to go there. God blessed her because of it. And she blessed the children that went through that daycare. Yeah. And I truly will say that God has blessed each and every child that went through that daycare. I know for a fact, because she had an impact on every single child. Because she tells me to this day, she's like, I saw that one kid not too long ago, and I was like, Sister Rose! And they love her. They love her because of that. But anyways, going back to what I was saying, my family member was like, that runs in the blood. It comes from your grandma. Your mom was a Head Start teacher. My mom was a Head Start teacher, for those who don't know, teacher, preschool, right? Yeah. They teach in preschool, so it's in my blood. People before, they was telling me grandparents on the other side of the family who was educators and teachers. And I have principals who were cousins, and they were principals over huge high schools. And it's like we were meant to be this. But not only is it in the blood, it's a spiritual thing. You know what I mean? I think for me, it's definitely a spiritual thing. But I'm gonna say that for the next question, because that's gonna be what we tap into. So right. That desire, I think, for me is definitely a bloodline thing, and I think God has definitely opened my eyes, because that is my passion. That is truly my passion.
Yes, and then share with our neighbors what you want. Like, how do you pursue that teaching pathway? What does that look like?
So to get very specific, I want to teach junior high. I want to teach seventh or 8th grade, and I want to teach a core subject because right now, our core subjects are failing really bad, and we are at an all-time low. They said since like the 1900s, and it's really bad. Like it's on a downhill pace of we're going backwards in time, and we blame that because of AI, because of online, because of the internet, and I really want to teach a core subject. Really, I want to be an English teacher for 8th grade, just to be specific. And I want to go to college, get my BA in education, or at least a specific subject. So maybe English, but you can also get your credentials in a multi-subject. So I don't just have to stay at junior high. I could go drop down to, elementary, but I really want to start off as a teacher. I'll just give y'all the little plan. I want to start off as a teacher, build that up, become a principal. I want to be a principal of a school. That is my true desire and passion. And not only stop there, I also want to become a college professor. I want to get to that type of level. Shoot for the stars and aim for the moon and shoot for the stars. I want to be a dean.
All right.
Dean Thompson. You know what I'm saying? So I really would not mind becoming older and becoming like a dean or becoming like an educator or something like that. That would be a blessing for me. But that's the plan. That's the plan, to let everybody know and let everybody in.
Or own your own school. And then you don't have to be over anybody's school.
That too.
All right. Okay, I can see that.
Absolutely.
All right. Now, be like a Sunshine Daycare number 2. No, I was kidding.
Hey, I might call it Sunshine School. Hey, for real.
Sunshine Elementary.
Right.
Okay. Next question. What kind of teacher do you hope your students remember years from now?
So I love this question because I was just thinking I promise, I was just daydreaming about this the other day. And I said, I want to be the teacher that I wish I could have had. And the teacher that I wish I could have had was a teacher that didn't always teach by the curriculum. Now, of course, knowing those who are my educators out there, you got to teach by the curriculum. But this is, okay, let me give y'all a little breakdown of what Mr. Joshua's classroom would look like, right? On some days, specifically maybe like a Friday or a Wednesday, I would want to have these journals for the kids. And I would always want to give them all journals about things that they have going on in their hearts and their minds that they want to express. And they could write in it and say, you can read this. Or if not, keep it discreetly. But I want you to put down your thoughts on a paper. Not type it up. Not put it in a group chat or something. No, write it down between you, yourself, and that pen and paper, right? And I want to talk to them about topics that they may not be able to talk about at home. Talk about, because junior high, you're about to go to high school. Things are going to change. You're going through puberty. You're going through changes in your body and hormones and life, and things are about to get real. I want to talk about, what does love look like? My favorite album of all time is The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. And I love at the end of every song, they talk about some topic about love. It's like a classroom setting for those who listen to the album. And at the beginning, it's like, they're taking roll and they're like, Lauryn Hill. That's the whole basis of the album. She was outside of the conversation about love, so she grew up not understanding it. Reason why the album is called Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. She didn't understand what love was about, so she had to grow up and learn it herself, dating these different men and having kids and what does love look like and all these different things. That is what it really reflected on me, is some kids really don't get that. I want to be that teacher that it can inspire them and really grow their mind intellectually and teach them about things that ain't just in the school book.
Right.
Teach them about real hardcore things and plant seeds in them. Because our teachers now is very different, and it's hard. But I really want my kids to really understand that there's so much more to life than just what you're looking at in front of you. I want them to think years down the line and plan for the future and think further in the game. That's what I want to be the type of teacher as, is that Mr. Joshua always looked out for me.
Yes.
I want to be the teacher that if you needed food, I'm going to provide for you. If you needed something that was going on, I'm there. I want to be open with the parents, transparent. Like, I can't wait to be a teacher. I'm not going to lie to y'all. I cannot wait to be a teacher. Like, it will be so fulfilling.
Yeah.
That's my biggest excitement. So that is the kind of teacher I hope to be years from now, where students remember, nobody may have had my back, but Mr. Joshua had my back always.
And honestly, Josh, I believe that is definitely going to be the outcome. I truly believe that, because I feel like you're a natural teacher, and people do gravitate towards you. And I believe because people see that love on you, it just glows, and it's like, okay, why wouldn't I want to know Mr. Joshua or open up to Mr. Joshua or feel like this is my safe person? You know what I mean? So I feel like that is something that is definitely going to happen and transpire. They're probably going to send all the kids to your classes because they're going to be like, whatever he's doing, he's making a huge difference and impact on their lives, and we need more Mr. Joshua. So I'm so excited, and I can't wait till you become a teacher. I told my kids years ago, I said, can one of you, please, just one of you fulfill my dream? I never fulfilled it, and I, not fully like I wanted to. I wanted to actually become a school teacher, and I never fulfilled it. And I tried it out. I tried it out a little bit, and I realized that season of my life, it was not for me. I didn't want to be on Channel 10 News on the second day of work. So I knew I had to call it out. I had to tap out. But I'm really excited to see where this is going to lead you. I think you will be a phenomenal teacher. I feel like you're definitely going to be one to mentor other teachers and how to be really good, impactful teachers. So I can't wait. I just can't wait. I'm so excited as well. So excited.
I am too. Thank you.
Now, I want to ask you something a little different. And just to get into some, more in-depth conversations. But what's one lesson I taught you growing up that has helped you the most since moving?
I would say, I think for me, the most important lesson, because you and Dad have taught me so many lessons, and I would say for you, I think the most important lesson is loving people for who they are. I think not only have you told me to do that, but I've seen you live it out. I've seen you meet people where they're at. And I've seen you really just be able to love on people hard. And I think that's where it comes from for me. Sometimes we can overly love people too hard. You know what I mean? Where we our heart is on the line because we love you so much. We care and we get attached so fast. And I've also been learning that. I can't get attached too fast. I got to learn that sometimes you got to set up boundaries and really, you know what I mean? Everybody can't be entitled to your heart.
Right.
So, but with that, I think the lesson you taught me is how to truly love others. And people have been just telling me that. And even at work, they're always telling me, all right, love you, Josh. Have a good one. And I'm like, dang, love you. I'm fucking here for a while now. Y'all a little strange over here. They're like, no, but they're like, Josh, you've been here for a month or two. It's technically going on 2 months. And just kind of a little not to toot my own horn, but they already been asking, hey, what do you think about being a shift lead here?
Yeah.
And I've been here for a month, and that was within a month. And they're like, you have excelled past some of the workers that have been here for years, and you're so good with customers. You're so good with our team. You're so good with the shop. You learn, you ask questions. You always want to get better every shift. I remember even in this group chat that we have, it's with all the shops. We have 5 different shops in Arlington. And I remember one week I worked probably almost 40 hours in a week. And they were just blowing up. They're like, Josh, you're crazy. Josh, you're a money man. Everybody's we going on takeout on Josh. Everybody eating food on Josh's bill. And I was like, and at first I was joking. I was like, all right, bet, I got you. And then they started getting too serious. Then they were like, so should we do sushi? Or should we do a hibachi? Or should we do barbecue? And I'm like, hold on. I thought we were joking. And it was like, oh, Josh is going to buy the food, and then this person going to buy the drinks. And I'm like, y'all tripping. So I said goodnight. I turned off that group chat. I was done. Because they was really getting serious. They was really about to use it. They was about to tap my credit card. I said, absolutely not. But even with that, I go to different shops, and people are like, you are so amazing. I've been getting shout outs from other managers who told my managers, they're like, Josh is such an amazing worker. He came in, he killed it. We were busy, and he helped it die down fast. He talked to all the customers. He talked about you guys highly. And it's been such a blessing. And this is not to brag. This is not to be self-righteous. This is me just living out what I've been doing.
Yeah.
And I think that's the lesson you've taught me, is to be authentically myself. And not only that, but to love others authentically as well, you know, and sincerely love others. And by doing that, people have just been I feel it. I feel the love, and some people you ain't gonna get the love right away. I remember I had one coworker who she was just side-eyeing me. It felt like she didn't like me. She was very quiet. She wouldn't talk to me. And I was like, man, I love loving people. So why don't she like me? Like, I was so confused. I was like, why don't she like me? But then it took her time to open up, and I had to realize not everybody loves the same way that I do. And I had to learn that as well, because I'm such a lovable person that I'm used to people opening up to me. I'm used to people talking to me. I'm used to people. But when she did it, I'm like, dang, like, you good? Right. And when I had to learn that, I was like, okay, it just takes people some time. So I think that's one thing I learned about you is just authentic love.
Man, that's real. That's so real. And I love that you have not letting that go, and that you are definitely realizing how important it is to be that way.
Absolutely.
Next question. What's one thing you hope I never stop doing as your mom?
I hope you never stop checking on me.
No, that's not going to happen. I'm not going to stop checking.
I know that's not going to happen. But I think, because I remember you telling me one time, like, I'll be giving him his space because I don't want to be that mom who's always pestering. And I definitely appreciate that, because you could be one of them mamas that could be, Josh, where you at? What you doing? I see your location. Why are you here? Why are you there? What you doing? You could be. You know what I mean? I'm in a whole nother state, and you don't know. I could be running these streets wild, which I'm not, but I could be. You know what I'm saying? And it's a blessing to know that you're there to support, but you're not there to be overbearing. And that's a blessing. But I definitely I love when, even when I don't reach out, you always make sure, hey, Josh, I haven't heard from you this week. Not saying that, you have to, but check on your mother. You know what I mean? You're like, yeah, I should definitely be a priority where it's on the top of your list. And I really had to reflect on that. And I was like, man, this is the woman that birthed me, man. I wouldn't be here without her. So I really, really love that you check on me and you take time out of your week, even when you're busy, to really, Josh, I see you. Josh, I miss you. Josh, I love you. I hope you're doing good. Like, we do weekly calls, and I appreciate that. You know what I mean? And I don't want that to change, because sometimes that's all I need. Sometimes I just really need a phone call, just an ear, just, hey, Ma, I got this going on. I got that going on. Yeah. I got girls again. You know what I mean? Like, whatever it is, I appreciate all of it. So,
well, and of course, I'm not going to stop calling. I'm definitely not going to stop doing that, because, as your mother, I feel like I would not be doing my job as a mom. Just because, like I said, we have that big distance between us doesn't mean that I stop being a mom. Just because you're now 18 doesn't mean that I stop being a mom. Like, that continues on. If anything, it increases even more. And I know it was a little overwhelming for you, because, like you expressed earlier, we didn't get to do much of that when you were here physically. And unfortunately, it wasn't that we didn't want to. It was just time and just, really just taking out. And that's the thing, is that I think we have to realize how to take out time from one another, regardless of what's going on. That was kind of my lesson learned, even hearing you express that, hey, Mom, this is very foreign to me, because when I was there, we weren't doing much of conversating, like, intimate conversations. It was more like, hey, how you doing? Okay, good. Okay, all right, you got what you need? Okay, good. Can you run the hair for me? Okay, good. You going to school? Okay, good. You're doing what you're supposed to? Okay, good. It wasn't really just, hey, have you thought about X, Y, and Z? And, what do you feel about that? So I think this has been my learning curve. And now I'm even learning to do more of it with your sisters, because I'm learning through you of what not to do. Because I think they have, but I know they have expressed a few times here and there, like, they love having those deep conversations with your father and I. So we're definitely trying to be more intentional about that. So I will never stop calling you. I will never stop checking in on you. And definitely we'll be making a trip soon to come see you, because we missed you already. So, but yeah, for sure, I'll never stop doing that, Josh.
Yeah, no, I do appreciate it every time.
Yes. Now, is there anything you've always wanted to thank Dad and me for? Not to sound vain or anything like that, but is there anything you wanted to take this time to thank Dad and I for?
I'll say separately, and then I'll say together too. I think one thing I've always thanked Dad for, and I made it be known, but I really love to dive deep on it, is my dad was able to be a father while learning how to be a father. My dad never had a good male role model, at least what I know of. My dad has never had a good male role model to be a father figure. And one blessing I think God has showed me is I've had so many amazing men in my life. Amazing men who I had so many examples around me, like good and bad. You know what I mean? Like, I ain't gonna lie, there's some men in my life I learned not to do. Like, I'm like, okay, not doing that. You know what I mean? Like, you got a couple baby mamas, you got a couple, no. I'm good. Yeah. So I learned from the good and bad, but one thing about my dad is he had to learn with us. And I think with me being with him, I always was like, as a kid, like, it used to get whooped, and you would go in your room and slam the door, and here, man, and you just going off. Like, you want to run away, do all these crazy stuff. And I never took the time to notice my dad was learning how to be a parent at the same time I was learning how to be a child. Like, really, really to dive deep on that. Like, my dad never knew. And it's such a blessing to see the type of man he is, because my dad has always been there. There hasn't been a night where I slept and I'm like, where's dad at? Yeah. When is dad coming home? When can I see dad again? Oh, man, dad said he was going to meet me this week, but he's not there. Dad's not at my basketball. I remember there was times where he couldn't show up to my basketball games, but y'all on FaceTime and you flipping the camera to show him the game while he on FaceTime at work. That used to crack me up. And I'm like, he cared that much that he would watch me at work, but on FaceTime, my basketball games. And that's a true father. Yeah. Some fathers don't even take the time to show up to the game. You know what I mean? So that's one thing I'm grateful for him for. Shout out, Dad. Yeah. And I'll say for you, definitely just being able to be a mother differently than those before you. I think you definitely took some parts of Sister Ruth Thompson with you, but you took the good and you separated it from the bad. Not saying she was like, what I'm saying is all parents have flaws. And I definitely saw that you took things that you was like, I don't want this for my household, because that's the way you grew up. And there's going to be things that I take from y'all that I'm like, I don't want this for my household. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I definitely saw that with you, because you used to be very strict, just being transparent. When we came out the womb, man, it was church on Monday, church on Tuesday, church on Wednesday, church on Sunday, church on Thursday. You know what I mean? Like, you was in them prayer closets, and I remember I was a kid, and I remember, just a little sidebar, I want to just tell this funny story one time. My mom almost died this day. Let me give y'all an explanation. Oh, God. My mom was praying, and she was off on the side. And I remember I was so bored as a kid. I had this little penny, and I was flicking it up in the air. Do you remember this story? Yes, I do. So she was praying, and there was a heavy prayer. There was speaking in tongues. There was crying out. And my mom paying no attention because she's so heavy in the spirit. And I'm flicking this penny up in the air, and I'm just having my good old time. Like, woo. And I said, I got an idea. Let me try to catch it in my mouth. So I flicked this penny up, and I'll keep flicking it. And I keep flicking it. And I catch it in my mouth over and over. And then, boom. This one time I flick it, it gets all the way stuck in the back of my throat. I'm over here coughing, dying. Lord knows I'm choking. I'm struggling. I'm wheezing. I'm like, help. And all the sisters just praying. But God sent Sister Doris. Thank you, Jesus. Sister Doris saved my life. So she comes over and she sees me, and she's like, Josh, you choking? And I'm like, yeah, I'm stuck. And I was like, I can't speak because I got a penny stuck in my throat. So she walks into the bathroom. Mind you, this woman is still praying. She's still, thank you, Jesus. I thank you, God, while walking me to the bathroom. She's still in prayer. So she walks me over, and I'm coughing. I'm trying to spit it up because she knows it's stuck in my throat. So she's trying to make me throw it up. So she patted my back. In the name of Jesus, cast this penny out. In the name of Jesus, this boy will not go. Hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus. She's slapping my back. And I'm just coughing and choking and spitting up over the toilet. And I throw this penny up. And I was like, it was bad, right? And what I'm saying all that is because, wait, where was I going? Oh, Lord have mercy. There was a reason I was telling this story, and I forgot where I was going.
Okay.
But,
well, you was going into thanking me. I know that much. And then
I was thinking
sidebar, but yes.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. I'm a yapper. I'm sorry, guys. If I make this up so long,
we love it. We love it. We're enjoying it. We're enjoying it.
But what I'm thanking you is because I remember, like, it was just so good to have you as a mother. There we go. Thank you, Jesus. because you took the things differently from your household. You wasn't so strict on us where we was in church all the time. You gave us that space. Hey, y'all got to learn God for yourselves. I'm not going to force God on y'all. Y'all need to have a relationship on your own. Because I remember that's the biggest thing that stuck out to me as a kid is when y'all told me that. You said, listen, you cannot get to heaven by me and dad. God is not going to say, welcome into heaven because we were faithful. Once I got past a certain age, I remember y'all telling me that, and that's when I really straightened up. Because y'all was like, you die tonight. You going to hell, Josh. Well, y'all didn't say it like that. You didn't say it like that. But you was like, you die tonight. You're getting judged for yourself and your own actions. And that's when I really started reflecting. And I'm like, okay, now I need to really live right, you know? And that's one thing I do appreciate about you is that you never... You took things from your household that you did differently in ours. And that's one thing I do appreciate. You grew. You know what I mean? And one thing about y'all together that I would say for sure is that y'all were just there. You know what I mean? Like, y'all were just parents. Like, y'all weren't too much of friends. Y'all weren't too much of parents. But y'all were just parents. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, y'all wasn't overly where it's like, you can't have no conversations with us. I'm your elders. You can't talk to me like that. Don't talk to me at all. It wasn't that. And it wasn't go out and buy a gun and go out on the streets and sell drugs and have fun. Like, you know, you got those parents who are friends. Y'all wasn't that. Y'all had a healthy balance. Yeah. So that's one thing. I'm done talking. Let's move on to the next question. I'm sorry, y'all. All right. That's one thing I appreciate.
No, this is what it's about, having those conversations. We said we came to this space to have these conversations. And Josh, you don't know what you're expressing how much it's going to impact someone else, because there are parents who are trying to still figure it out, right? There's children who are still young adults who are children of parents that are still trying to figure it out and understand even their parents better. And sometimes hearing it from another young person who is also of the same age, has some relatable things, they can say, okay, you know what? Let me give my parents some grace because I'm realizing they're just trying to do the best that they can do, right? Or I'm realizing that they're doing it because they love me. Right? Sometimes when you're stuck in those emotions and you're feeling like, I know everything, I don't need nobody to tell me nothing, I got this and I got this going on and they don't understand me, it's hard to really see the other side of it. Right. So sometimes when you're able to hear from someone else who actually lived it and is living it, then it makes it a lot more easier for you to receive, you know, and to actually embrace. And then be like, okay, now I need to figure out how to navigate through this. So I feel like don't feel like you're giving too much, because I feel like you're giving just what we need. Okay?
All right. I just want to make sure I ain't trying to talk y'all ears off.
You're good. Now, to reflect on this, we're going to want to get into getting a little bit deeper to, again, about asking you this next question. I want you to really think about it, okay?
Mm-hmm.
If 18-year-old Josh could sit beside the Josh that's talking today, what would you tell him?
This is when I freshly turned 18?
Yes. Like before you turn, like you just turned 18. What could you tell him? Because I know it's only been about 7 months, like 6 months?
About 6 months.
Yeah, about 6 months since you turned 18, right? So at that time, of course, you know, when you hear 18, there's that fear like, oh my gosh, now I'm an adult, right?
Right.
But now that you have, you know, turned 18, you're now out and living on your own, per se, quote unquote, right? What would you have told him so that he wouldn't be so fearful or so worried or so anxious? What would you have told him?
Ooh, okay. I got to answer for this. I had to think about it because I was like, it's kind of confusing because it's 6 months apart, right?
Yeah. But there could be a lot of growth in 6 months, which I believe it has been, right? Because you did a really big move. So what would you tell him?
And that growth for me was stop taking life so serious. Let me explain why, though. Like, for me, I think I was a very much of an overthinker that I was like, if I don't do this, they're going to hate me. If I don't do this right, that's going to be the end of the world. You know me, you raised me. Like, you know what I mean? I was a very much of a, like, everything had to be tip-top perfect shape, or it had to be, everything was so serious with me. Yeah. Every relationship, every friendship, every encounter with people, like, everything was always so serious. And I never took the time to just be lighthearted, be very just flowy and free and just enjoy myself. You know what I mean? Like, and that's one thing I would tell myself is, Josh, you taking life way too serious, my guy. Like, like I was thinking about college and my future, and I would get stressed out. I remember junior year, between like junior year and senior year, I would have these really bad anxiety attacks. I really didn't tell nobody, but I have these really bad anxiety attacks because I'm like, I don't know what I want to do in my life. I don't know where I want to go. I didn't like, I was applying for colleges. I'm not doing it fast enough. Scholarships, grants, all these. It was just a whole lot. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, God, I feel like I'm failing. God, I feel like I'm messing up. God, I feel like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it definitely has grown in these last 6 months of just taking life so lighthearted, because this is the only life I'm going to be able to live. Why take it so serious? Because this is not my final home. This is not my final destination. This is the only life I'm going to live on this earth. But after that, I'm going with Jesus. Straight up.
Right.
So I don't got to take it so serious. Yes, take it serious because Judgment Day is coming, but don't be so to the point where my butt is so tight. Wait, no, pause. Sorry, time out. Sorry. Let's do another illustration. Let's not take life so much that, you know, I can't think of another thing, but that's just what I'm going to say. So I'm just saying, like, let's just not take life so serious. And that's what I would tell myself. You know what I mean? Like, I would tell myself, Josh, to take life lightly, you know, and enjoy every moment, laugh in the moments. Like, I used to get so stressed out that I'm not going to enjoy this moment fast enough because it's going to fly by. Instead of just laughing and embracing it, I'm with my friends. I'm with the people I love, enjoying my time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's what I'm saying. I think that's what I would have told myself, is because now I'm just enjoying life. Like, I'm not going to lie. If my car stopped working tomorrow, God bless America. I mean, I'm going to figure it out.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't know why I say that. That's just a sidebar. That's been my slogan now. God bless America. Like, that's just me saying. I don't know why or where I got it from. But my godparents all the time would be like, Josh, what's wrong with you? I don't know. God bless America. Peace out. You know, like, I don't know why. But the more y'all talk to me, you will hear me say that. Because since I've been out here, I've just been saying that so much. It's so funny. But, yeah, like, I've really just been telling myself, live lightly. Like, this is the only life I have to live. I know I'm going to be with Jesus because I'm going to live my life right. You know what I'm saying? So enjoy it while I'm here. Yeah. Live in the moments. Be free. Stop being so uptight. That's the word I was looking for. Not booty tight, uptight, you know? And I think just stop being so, everything got to be tip-top perfect shape, because life is not going to be perfect.
Right.
You know, like, for illustration, I don't mean to yap your ears off again. I'm sorry. But let's say, like, the wedding day. Everybody's anxious about the wedding has to go this way. The planner has to. For me, my wedding day, I want a planner, but everything does not have to be perfect. Everything is not. Life is not going to be perfect. And once people step outside of that, that's why I stopped looking at social media so much. Because I keep looking at all these influencers, and that's exactly what they are, influencers. They're showing you the highlights of their life. They're showing you the influence that they have because this is what they've done to get to the places that they're at. But it's not real. It's not authentic. They're showing you the good stuff, but they're not showing you the low moments where they're living paycheck to paycheck, where they're taking gambles and they're struggling. They're not showing you that. They're just showing you the travel and the marriage and the kids and the houses and the cars, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think when you stop taking life so serious, things start to change for you. That's just my true perspective.
Man, that's real. Like, you know, you only live once, right? You can't get this life back. So you definitely got to live it to the fullest, right? And of course, this is just a dress rehearsal for us, right? We know this is not our forever home. But in that, we still, God wants us to live our life to the fullest, right? And of course, allow him to lead us in doing so. But you're right. You're absolutely right. I think sometimes we take things too serious and not realizing sometimes we need to let our hair down and just let the wind just blow all through it and just have a good old time. Just a good old hard, hold your stomach, crying laughs. You know, sometimes that it just will heal and cure everything, right? So I totally agree with you on that. Totally agree with you on that.
Right.
Now, if you could speak to the Josh you'll become 5 years from now, what would you hope he never forgets?
That's a good question. I would say, I hope he would never forget where he comes from. I tell people this all the time. I say, I live life with no regrets. Everything I went through, people always talk about it. I wish I never went through that. I wish it would have been different. Yes, but it made you who you are today.
Yeah.
Stop trying to forget it so much. Sometimes the past is good. People really want to forget the past, but that's where we come from. That's our makeup of who we are. Because when you go through those bumps and those bruises and those aches and those heartaches and pains, it made you who you are today, and you're growing from it. And I think that's one thing I would never want the future Josh to forget is you had to go through these challenges and these mistakes and these things and these bumps in the road. But Josh, you're better because of it. Stop trying to avoid it. Take it on. Embrace it. Embrace the mistakes. Embrace the frustrations. Embrace the mess ups. Everything's not going to be perfect. And that's one thing I'm really starting to learn and understand. And that's one thing I hope he would never forget. Is remember where you come from, because that is what made you who you are today.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Josh, before we end, I just want to tell you how incredibly proud I am of you. Watching you step into this new season hasn't always been easy as your mom. I miss you. I think about you often. But watching you trust God, embrace change, work hard, and continue becoming the young man He's created you to be has filled my heart with so much joy. Never stop growing, never stop learning, and never forget where your foundation was built. I love you, Josh, with more than words could even express. And I'm so grateful for even having you on this episode. I feel like this is just, it's so perfect. I just better than I expected, right? But I just am grateful for your just being so vulnerable, for just being transparent, and I really appreciate you even taking this time out. I know we have about a 2-hour time difference between us, but, just taking this time out, and I know you're busy with navigating through life and transitions and things like that. So thank you for that. I just want to tell you I'm so proud of you, Josh. We're so very proud of you.
Thank you.
Now, I don't know if you did or not. I did ask you to bring something with you that had some meaning or represents growth. So I'm glad you did. Okay, perfect. Mm-hmm. And so I wanted to start this new tradition on the Growth in Between podcast. And I'm asking guests to bring something that represents their growth, something ordinary, something meaningful, something that tells part of their story. Because sometimes an object can say what words cannot. So Josh, what is in your hands today?
So the object that's in my hands is my booties, my baby booties. I remember my mom, this is kind of I don't know I remember I wanted to take it and you was like, Josh, if we lose this, I'll hurt you. And well, not like that, but I know you kind of didn't want to give them to me because you was a little nervous because you thought he's going to lose, he's not going to care about them that much. But I will tell you this, I hang them up. You know how some people have dice that hang up on the rearview mirror? Mm-hmm. They're like my dice. They're hanging up, and I tied them together in a knot, and they're hanging up on my rearview mirror because I love looking at them when I'm driving throughout my days because it shows where I come from. I was a baby in these shoes, and it's my booties. They're like little Adidas. They're these little, or actually K-Swiss. It's not even Adidas. Yeah, it was these white and black K-Swiss. What y'all know about K-Swiss? You know what I'm saying? And I was rocking these Johns as a baby, but it shows the growth. My feet will never be able to fit in these again. But it almost brought a tear to my eye when you showed me these. You brought them at my graduation party. He was like, look at your baby booties. And I was like, yo, when you took that picture with my Adidas next to these, my now shoes, like my shoes I have now. And I was like, wow, so much has changed from then to now. And you think about that, and it's a different perspective because I can't feel these shoes no more. The baby Josh is gone. Yeah. But I've grown so much. And that's the reason why I brought these, because for me, it shows the growth in between. It shows the growth that I've had for myself, that these are the shoes I'm starting in, but they're not going to be the shoes that I finish in. And it shows the growth in between. I don't know. Hey, I hope I have some, clean Jordans or New Balances in my funeral home, in my coffin. Whoever does it, get me right. Get me right. You know what I'm saying?
Way down the line.
Way down the line. In Jesus' name. Yeah. But, these baby booties, they really represent that. These are shoes I'll never be able to put on again, but I embrace that because all the growth that has happened in between.
Thank you for sharing that. I love that. I think that that's a beautiful reminder that growth often hides inside ordinary things. And you just really demonstrated and displayed that in such a beautiful just narrative. And I'm so grateful. And I love that you still have them and you're holding them dear and you are realizing how much, of a reminder they are. And that was a true, like I said, a beautiful narrative. Like you really just explain like how you no longer can do the things you used to do when you wore those shoes, right? You can't cry and whine, suck on your finger and looking for milk and hoping somebody pick you up and grab you and take you and change your diaper because you're wet or, know what your need is because you're crying, right? Now you're a whole full adult where now you can use your words, you can get up and walk on your own, you can maneuver on your own, you got your own car, you're independent, you're doing things now of an adult, right? So you're no longer doing those baby things, right?
Right.
So I just appreciate that. And I thought that was so beautifully put. So thank you for sharing that.
Absolutely.
Before we go, I'd like to leave you with this week's Neighbors Challenge. This week, I want you to pause and reflect on one season of your life that has changed you. Maybe it was moving to a new place, graduating, losing someone, starting over, becoming a parent, or simply stepping into something unfamiliar. Ask yourself, who was I before that season? Who am I because of it? Then write down 3 ways you've grown. Not what you accomplished, not what you have earned, but how you have changed as a person. Sometimes we're so focused on what's next that we forget to celebrate how far we've already come. And if today's conversation reminded you of someone who's stepping into a new season, send this episode to them. You never know how much encouragement a simple conversation can bring. Neighbor, today's conversation reminded me of something. Growth doesn't always happen where we're comfortable. Sometimes it begins the moment we step into unfamiliar places. Whether you're leaving home, starting over, changing careers, walking through grief, or simply trying to figure out who you are. Remember this. You don't have to have life all figured out. You just have to keep becoming. Thank you for spending this time with us. Until next time, keep showing up, keep growing, keep becoming. I'll save you a seat. See you next Friday, neighbor.